gem from Mickey about to drop a gem. 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 Here comes a gem. Here comes a gem. Here comes a gem from Mickey about to drop a gem. Mickey about to drop a gem. Mickey about to drop a gem. Okay, now listen up.
What's up, guys? It's Mickey, and welcome back to another episode of Blank Canvas. All right. How is my BK fam feeling? I hope amazing, excellent, swell, and let's jump into this week's episode. So there has been a lot going on. Jimmy Kimmel is back on air. Yay for free speech. I have seen some people not be happy about that because they feel like nobody rallied around I think the number is over 300,000 Black women that lost their jobs. It was a very targeted attack, obviously, for obvious reasons. But, I mean, I get the frustration, especially as a Black woman. I get the frustration, but we know that this country is not going to fight for us. We know that they're going to work against us. We know that it's hard to even tell who's a true ally to us and who is just an ally enough to get something accomplished that they want to accomplish, or that they play ally in order to destroy us from the inside. We know this. However, I will say that doesn't mean that you don't speak up about it. It doesn't mean that you don't voice your frustrations. But the thing about the Jimmy thing is the whole point was free speech. Like, no matter which side of the aisle you were on, the free speech being under attack affects all of us, because in a minute you won't even be able to say, hey, what about the Black women who lost their jobs? Like, that's what that is. So I completely understand the frustration. I have been keeping up with the massive layoff of Black women for a minute, even though I haven't addressed it on here. I do firmly believe it was a targeted attack, but there are groups organizing and working on some things that I don't want to bring too much attention to, because you don't want people to thwart the plans. They're what we learned in the election and what previous generations warned us about was that a lot of them will play like they are on your side, and they will reveal their true colors when they vote, and they will reveal their true colors when it comes to having an opportunity to protect you or stand up for you, and they don't. So yeah, there are some things going on behind the scenes where they're working on that. And even though they're working on that, it will never take away the immediate pain that's being felt now by all of the Black women that lost their jobs, because that affects families, that affects them personally, and it can have generational effects, as we know, as a community in general. Right? So I wanted to make sure I acknowledge that, but also say that the reason that you can even say that is because of the whole free speech. So the big thing with Jimmy was to not get free speech back, but literally let it be known how detrimental and scary it was that free speech was under attack like that. And if we have a president that can censor, and if we have companies that are willing to censor what we hear and what we do, even more than what they already do, it's a scary slope. It's a scary slope. So we have to be mindful and careful of that. Next thing that I wanted to point out, which I didn't think twice about, I heard it was rumors that the rapture was coming. Listen, for people who are true believers, I hope y'all didn't believe that. I know y'all didn't believe that. I pay no mind to it. But for the people who may be new to faith, or for the people who may be just curious about it in general, I have no judgment. Baby, he ain't telling us. He ain't telling us. That man coming like a thief in the night. That's why he tells us to get ready and stay ready, because we never know the day or the hour, not only when we will die as individuals, but when he coming back. Oh yeah, I mean, he gives us some warnings about the world will look like, but we're tired and frustrated now. We don't even know to the degree of how bad it will be. So yeah, he just gave us an insight, and he tells us, he literally, if y'all read it, I promise all you got to do is open the Bible and read it. Some stuff is there. Some stuff is there. Don't wait on the internet to tell you. Just go look for yourself. Don't wait on your pastor to tell you. Just go look for yourself. And then, like I always say, whether you're listening to me read a scripture, your pastor, your friend, a trusted source, go read it for yourself to see if God shares a different download to you, a different way to look at it, a different perspective. And just so you can also just check, I could be lying to y'all right now. I could be lying to y'all. And some of y'all would probably be like, well, she said it and she's never given us any. You need to fact check for yourself. Okay, that just comes with everything, and even more with technology and with monopolies and companies. I mean, didn't we all see the whole effect of why all the news stations and things sound the same? Because of the monopoly of companies. Like, come on, guys. Like, you got to fact check this stuff for yourself. And I would never want you to just rely on me or a pastor or any pastors or just one random church to build, I don't even want to say build your relationship with God, but like that's your end all be all source of God. I highly recommend, more than anything, you need to know God for yourself. You need to know God for yourself, because if one of us mess up with explaining him, you don't want that to be your view of him. You need to know him for you. If you need to explain him to somebody else, you need to know him for you. There are going to be many false prophets rise up. We've seen them already happen. We have seen people false label people who are full of hate and hate speech as martyrs for Christ. It's already happening, people. Wake up. Wake up. You need to know Jesus for you. Even if there weren't false prophets and everybody was trying their best, we all got to remember we're human. We are human. And we don't see the world the same. We haven't all had the same experiences. So listen, check for yourself. The most important thing is to build an intimate relationship with him. I was looking for scriptures and different things that I wanted to share, and I couldn't figure out the exact topic that I wanted to touch on. So I assumed I'd hit the base points, because I'm literally on, not overfeed. What am I trying to say? Like, overload of just information and problem after problem. Like, America is a show right now, and it is chaotic, and it's like the country is being run by a toddler and a bully, and definitely a bully. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's affecting real people's lives. And some people find it funny who's not being affected. And some of y'all are FAFO right now about what voting for him and how it affects you and your people. Even though he said he wouldn't do certain things. Of course he lied. Of course he lied. If you go back to his original comments of why he ran to be a Republican anyways, I'm not going to say what that man said, but go look. Go look. Okay? He said it for himself. A lot of times, Donald will tell on himself and tell us who he is. It's our job to believe him. Just because he spits different lines like most politicians do, and it's time to be reelected, like you gotta believe them. And we gotta turn on our thinking caps, people. And right now, all of us are paying the price for what some people chose. But remember when he first got elected and I read that thing and God was like, this is y'all king. Y'all want a king so bad, and I done warned y'all, okay, give them a king. So we're in that part. We're in that part of the story, and I can't wait till God comes and frees us. I really can't. So make sure you get rest. Hold on. And if you never want to join the fight again, I completely understand, especially if you're Black. But if you can rest enough and have a little fight left in you, I say let's go. Let's do it. Because for the future generations, whether I have children or not, I just want the world to be a better place for all of us. Literally, for all of us. And we may not see everything the same, but we gotta connect with each other, and we gotta figure out a way how to live in peace and harmony. Like God has called us to do that. And it won't be peace and harmony every day, because we're humans full of emotions, but we have got to learn how to do it. Literally. And it feels terrible when we don't. It feels terrible when the world feels like this. It feels heavy and blah and boo. And like, Imagine being ugly to each other and can't afford to live. Like, that's double the whammy. That's too much. All right. So, ew. But I couldn't find a scripture that I really wanted to give you guys. And it made me think of something. I was like, do I force an episode out? Do I not? I didn't really know what I was going to do. But then it made me think of this point of how sometimes when I would feel burned out, it's okay if you feel burned out. Step away, rest. It's okay. But then also, I think of people being in their purpose and feeling weary. There are different situations. Like, there are sometimes you can be disconnected and feel not content because you're like, I'm not living out my purpose. That's a real thing. But then there are some times when you are living out your purpose and you can feel disconnected to it for the simple fact of, I think it's a trick of the enemy. Like, it's either you could be let me give you a couple of different scenarios. You can be in your purpose, you could be thriving, and you could be thriving so well that you're distracted from other areas in your life. And you're neglecting other areas in your life that God may have told you, like, hey, I gave you that family, steward over that family. Don't take it for granted. Or I blessed you with this and don't take that for granted. Or we're so busy focused on what God calls us to do that maybe we even stop talking to him as often. Because it's like, well, God, I'm doing what you call me to do, but I'm not actively pursuing you anymore, if that makes sense. And I know some people are probably like, well, how am I doing what God called me to do, but I'm not actively pursuing him? Because sometimes we could get so consumed in what he has asked of us to do that we forget to have simple conversation and build intimacy and pray and go back and check. Like, if we're not even going back and checking and say, God, is this still what I'm supposed to do? Or God, is this the way you still want me to do this? Then it can be harmful, or just, it can just tear, even if it's what God called you to do and it's making you spend less time with him on an intimate level, that doesn't please him either, because then you're more caught up in doing the thing versus connecting and being in purpose with the one who gave it to you in the first place. I hope that makes sense. Another version of it could be weariness and just being worn down. Sometimes it can make you so exhausted, so tired, you don't want to do it. You question your ability. You question if you're really supposed to be in it. Sometimes the enemy will make you doubt yourself. You are fine. If you're in this category, you are fine. Some days you just really may not feel like doing it, even if it's what you feel like you've been called to do. So you have to be aware of that. However, I will say this, go to God to be replenished, talk to him, be intimate with him, literally share every single thing, how you feel, thoughts, feelings, everything, whether they are positive or negative, because he knows our hearts anyways. And that way he can meet you where you are. He's not judging you. He's so above the world. I can't even express how above the world he is. Like, the way we judge each other, the way we shame each other, how harmful we can be to each other and to ourselves. God is so beyond and above that, it's ridiculous. But as Jesus, he did experience all the human emotions. So he has a grace for us and an empathy for us. Be like, I know what you guys are struggling with, and you aren't even me. So I know it's like double sometimes. It can feel like double for you guys. That's why I tell you, come to me and rest. I will make it feel light, or light enough to carry, right? It may not always feel great every day, but light enough to carry and move forward and move on. So we have to be mindful and aware of that as well. And I think sometimes the trick of the enemy is just to wear you down and make you question, are you even where you're supposed to be? And sometimes you get that feeling and it can take you to a path where God never intended you to go. So please be mindful and careful of that. And if you notice, the common theme in all of them were, don't let it take you away from God, and don't let it make you take you away from what God has called you to do, in order to know whether you are on the right path, but focus more on what he told you to do versus him, or you're on the right path, but you're questioning it because it just does, you don't feel like doing it, or it just doesn't feel the same as when you first got started. Sometimes when you get used to doing something, it don't hit like it did in the beginning, and that's all right. That's all right. If he still wants you there, then you need to be obedient. and do what he tells you to do, even if it doesn't feel as exciting as it did in the beginning. Feelings fluctuate. All right. Feelings fluctuate. Okay. But in order to know if that's where you're still supposed to be, if that's what you're still supposed to do, if that's who you're still supposed to be with, you have to have that intimate relationship with him, personal relationship with him. That relationship has to outweigh all other relationships, family, romantic, anything. You can't lead your husbands. You can't lead your wives if you don't have a strong relationship with him. Wives, you ain't going to even be willing to submit to that man if you don't have a strong relationship with him. Right? And then submit properly, not just the way that society tells you to submit, because everything of this world is complete opposite in the kingdom. And he wants us to bring the kingdom down here on earth until he returns. And then we can go be with him in heaven forever. Glory, glory, right? Hallelujah. So that's all I got today. I don't want to hold you guys here. I don't want to rant. And hopefully this message is something that somebody needs to hear. Just that little tidbit. And I love you guys. And I can't wait to see what we talk about next time. All right, guys. Bye.
Deadly, silent killer, hard to daddy. Most killers had no daddy. Sadly, that's just what it be in my community. We got no unity. Dark skin wanna ruin me. I'm speaking fluently, so just listen. Blank canvas, blank canvas, blank canvas.